Hi class, this is Mr. Trez, and this video is going to be a quick review on slope, y-intercept, and writing equations in slope-intercept form. So first off, what is slope? Slope determines the steepness of a line. So we have a line, and we want to determine how steep it is. We find slope by finding the rise over the run. What is a y-intercept? Well, the y-intercept is our point where our line crosses the y-axis. And then finally, slope-intercept form is the standard form of y equals mx plus b. Okay, so first let's take a look. Is our slope positive or negative? Well, in math, we read from left to right. So here we're going uphill. Okay, we're going uphill from left to right. Since it's going uphill, that means that our slope is going to be positive. Next is, what is the slope of this line? So with the slope, we want to first find two perfect points. And perfect points are points that almost look like a bullseye, okay? So if we have our coordinate grid right here, okay, where they cross, we want to find a point that is directly in the middle of that, the bullseye point right in the middle. So let's take a look at our line, and we can see we have a perfect point right here. Okay, this is not one, this is not one, this is a perfect point. Nope, nope, the y-intercept is a perfect point. This one's no, this one's a little too high, and this one is perfect. So I like to just label them all, okay? But all you need are 2 points, 2 perfect points to calculate the slope. So question B, what is the rise of the line? Again, try to think of it like a map. We have to get from one perfect point to another perfect point. So in order to get there, we're going to have to rise 2 spaces. And make sure you're counting the spaces. Here's 1, here's 2. Here's 1, here's 2. Here's 1, here's 2. And it doesn't matter which perfect point that you choose, the slopes will all be the same. Now, what is the run of the line? So again, to get from one perfect point to another, we're going to run to the right. 1 space, 2 space, 3 spaces. 1 space, 2 space, 3 spaces. And 1 space, 2 space, 3 spaces. So our run is going to be 3. Finally, what is our slope? Well, slope is a ratio of our rise over our run. So in this case, we have a rise of 2 and a run of 3. So our slope is going to be 2/3, 2 over 3. Next, we want to look at the y-intercept. And this is where our red line crosses the y-axis. So that's what we want to take a look at here, where our red line crosses the y-axis. So we can see, boom, 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 right here. So it's a 0.04, or we could just write it as 4. There's our y-intercept. And finally, we want to write our equation in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So y equals, the m is going to represent our slope, which is 2/3. We put the variable x next to the slope because the slope is what's changing, 2/3, 2/3, 2/3. That's why we put the x there, plus b, which is our y-intercept. Okay, this is just our constant number, and that's just going to be 4. And there is our equation in slope-intercept form. Let's take a look at one more example. So here we have our line, and let's take a look. Is the slope positive or negative? Well, we could see that it's going downhill, so this slope is going to be negative. Now, if we have a negative slope that's going downhill, we want to be thinking our fraction, when we get to letter D, our fraction is going to be negative. So what is the rise of this line? Well, let's find some perfect points. Here's one, yes, yes, we got a lot of perfect points here. And there we go. Okay, so now let's find the rise. Now, since it's negative, we're not going to have a rise. We're going to have a fall. So let's choose 2, and we're just going from this point right here to this point right here. So we're going to go down 1. So since we went down 1, that's going to represent -1. How much are we going to run? 1, 2. Well, since we went to the right, it's going to be a +2. But this is okay because we just want to have one negative and one positive number. Again, we want one negative, one positive when our slope is negative. So for letter D, the slope in a line would be -1/2. So one way that you could find a negative slope is you could go down and to the right. That becomes -1 over +2. If you wanted to, you could go up 1, but then to the left 2. And since we went to the left, it's -2. We still have our one positive number and another negative number, so it's still going to give us the same slope. So it's really up to you, okay? If you're more comfortable going up and to the left, you can do it that way. If you're more comfortable going down and to the right, you can do it that way. Just make sure we have one negative, one positive. So what is the y-intercept of our line? Again, this is the point where our line crosses the y-axis. And in this case, it crosses right here at point 3. So we're just going to write a 3. And then finally, what is our equation in slope-intercept form? Again, y equals mx plus b. So y equals, m is our slope. In this case, it's -1/2 x. And then our y-intercept plus +3. And there is our line. Thank you for watching this video.